Hi, I'm Kathlyn. Today I'll be sharing with you the special NASDAQ 100 rebalancing. There was a new NASDAQ 100 special rebalancing that was announced, and it's going to be effective on Monday, 24th of July. And this is to address the over-concentration of a few major tech stocks, which I'll be sharing with you in a while. Okay, so what is NASDAQ 100, right? NASDAQ 100 is an index that is supposed to represent the performance of the selected 100 stocks in the NASDAQ stock exchange, right? And it consists mainly of non-financial stocks. However, it is very focused on tech stock. You can see here the technology stocks weightage is more than 65%. However, it had also a few other sectors, including consumer discretionary and healthcare. Okay. So one of the challenge for this year is the index has been very overweight on a few key stocks, right? Because of the strong rally for the technology and especially the AI related theme stocks, which brings it up to more than 46.6% here. Okay. So based on the new rebalancing, rebalancing guideline, the top 5 largest composition aggregate weight will be set to not more than 38.5%, which means many of these top stocks will have to reduce in their weighting. Okay, and the snapshot that will be used in terms of what is the current weightage to be reduced is based on the share outstanding as of 3rd of July. There is actually a regular rebalancing for the NASDAQ that is done on every end of the quarter, right? Where there will be additions and deletions sometimes. But for this special rebalancing, there will be no addition or deletion. Just a change of weightage. So what is the impact? Currently, there are 300 billion benchmark on the NASDAQ 100, roughly about that amount. And QQQ is the largest benchmark of the NASDAQ 100, which has more than 200 billion asset under management. Okay. So what does these funds that benchmark the NASDAQ 100 need to do? Because these funds actually have to model close to the exact compositions of the NASDAQ 100, right? It's called an index fund. Therefore, when this index composition change, those funds that model NASDAQ 100 index will have to align with the new compositions, which means those that exceed the guideline, they will have to sell the shares, and those which is below the guideline, they will have to buy those shares, right? So you will see more movement of those stocks that are impacted. So let's look at the specific changes over here. And this snapshot is actually from Bloomberg. Okay. You can see these are the top 7 stocks that are in the NASDAQ 100. The biggest composition change here is actually in NVDA, because NVIDIA has the biggest rally this year. The second one is Microsoft, okay, followed by the Amazon. And you can see something that's not as obvious here, which is Alphabet, which is Google. So you can see that it's actually listed as 2 different classes of stocks. One has voting right and one without voting right. So combined, it is actually pretty high. So this is 1.82%. Which means this is the one that's actually number 3. So most people may not realize it, and this become number 4. Okay. So what is the real impact on these shares? That means currently, the Microsoft has 12.8% of the QQQ, let's say, AUM of about 200 billion, consists of Microsoft shares. And now they need to reduce the weightage by 2.97%. That means the QQQ fund alone will have to sell off quite a significant number of shares to comply to the new weighting. Okay. So what are the significant change here for these top 7 stocks, right? So from 55.49%, the weightage will be reduced to 43.68, right? Close to 12% reduction over here. So what does it mean to the NASDAQ, right? You may experience some difference in performance after this weightage, because tech stock has been the one that is driving the QQQ rally, right? NASDAQ 100 rally. So if the composition have changed to non-tech stocks, and non-AI team stocks, and these are mainly AI-related team stocks as well. Of course, there are other growth factors that are driving these stocks upside. And if it's moved to the compositions change to other stocks that are not as bullish, you may see that the QQQ performance may not be as high. Yeah, but there are also many factors that affect the performance. Okay, so the reduction may not exactly be due to this composition change, right? It could just be people want to take profit after a strong rally as well. Okay, so these are the reductions. So what about addition? Okay. Addition is not so significant. As you can see, these are the top 8 stocks that has a addition, but the addition is also quite minor. Yeah, relative to what I shared just now, related to the Microsoft change and also NVIDIA change, right? These are 3%, roughly close to 3%. Okay, and on Alphabet is actually 1.82. Compared to the addition is less than 1%. So I would say that these are actually quite minor. We also need to take a look at the average daily volume of these shares. So for those that are added over here, the average daily volume is actually smaller. So even a smaller percentage change can have a more significant impact. Yeah. So we don't look at the percentage composition change here. We also look at this change relative to the daily average volume, yeah, which I will give you an example in a short while. As a whole on these 8 stocks, right, you can see that it's actually just about 3% plus changes combined. Okay. So what about the overall sector weighting, right? How does it change? Before the rebalancing, tech stocks carry 61.75%, and after that, there's actually a reduction of about 4% plus. Okay. How significant is it? I won't say that it's actually very significant, but you may see some minor impact on the overall performance, yeah, by the reduced weightage. I mean, these top 7 stocks that are listed just now will have a slightly less influence of the Nasdaq performance. Okay, and which one are added? You can see here the industrials has added 1%, telco as well, and also healthcare. Yeah, most of this is roughly 1% impact, yeah, which is also not very significant. Okay. So let me share with you, I get a lot of questions related to, so how do I have to sell off my Microsoft and NVIDIA and Google and so on? Before you do that, first let me explain the impact over here. Okay, I'm going to give you a very specific calculation examples. Okay, so Microsoft alone has a weightage reduction of 2.97%. Okay. So how it will impact will depend on the specific funds, right? So I'm just using QQQ as an example. Yeah, of course, there are more funds than QQQ that are modeling the index, but this is the most significant. So QQQ has a total asset under management. That means the total fund size is $209 billion US. So it has to reduce the allocation to Microsoft by 2.97%. Yeah, which means the total impact is $6.2 billion of shares of Microsoft that need to be reduced. That means need to be sold off. Okay. So when QQQ need to sell off this number of shares, do you think it will impact the market? Okay, so how do we assess the significance of the impact? Then we need to look at the daily average volume. Yeah, but before we look at the daily average volume, which is in number of units of share, we need to convert this 6.2 billion to what is the number of Microsoft shares that need to be sold, right? So Microsoft stock price as of the 21st July, the previous Friday, is 343.77. Okay. So the number of shares that need to be reduced, we will be taking this 6.2 billion, right, divide by this number, which end up roughly close to 18 million of shares, Microsoft shares that need to be sold. And this is roughly 63% of Microsoft average daily volume, right? So this is the Microsoft average 3 months, yeah? Taken the 3 months average volume is about 28.51 million. Yeah, that means on daily basis, there are 28.5 million of Microsoft shares that change hand, okay? So this is less than even 1 day volume. Of course, this is a very big fund and they cannot just sell off in 1 day. Okay, so and in the past, right, QQQ may not be selling so much, right? So we don't know the exact percentage of impact. That means on a regular basis, how much does QQQ shares change hand? Okay, what I meant is how much does Microsoft shares are being bought and sold by QQQ on a daily basis. So it could be a very small impact. So even though it's 63%, which is a less than 1 day volume, right? It could still be a big impact. Of course, the fund manager of QQQ will not be selling all this on Monday, right, when it take effect. So they will, most of the big funds, they don't sell in one day or even 1 week. They take a few months to sell it, right? They are not required to comply to the composition changes straight away. Otherwise, there'll be a huge impact on those shares that are affected, right? So what usually happens is they will take a couple of weeks to months to sell them, okay? And this will cause a sideways consolidation of those stocks. Right, Microsoft and NVDA and Google and so on, these are strong fundamental stocks that are aligned with the AI team, cloud computing, and the other big mega trends, right? So, and 5G and so on. Yeah, that means 5G will drive more data requirement, right? There will be other funds, even though QQQ is selling, these are the stocks that many other funds would want to accumulate, right? So when QQQ sell, other funds may want to buy near the support. Right, near the resistance, the QQQ fund manager may sell, but when it comes to after they sell, it will come down. Near the support, other funds may buy, or even individual investor may take the opportunity to buy. In fact, I would say that it's a great opportunity to collect these stocks when it's near a strong support. Of course, you need to make sure that you understand what you're doing and make sure that you do your due diligence on that. Yeah, because there are also many factors that affect the stock market, not just the rebalancing. Okay, so based on this, you know, the impact on the volume is not significant if they spread it out. Okay, and typical fund management, when they fund that need to sell off certain stocks, they don't do it in 1 day. Right, it will take usually a couple of months for them to sell off a particular shares, right, or even reduce the shares. It may take 1 month or 2 months in this case to have less impact. Therefore, we think that the impact on it is not so significant. However, on Monday itself, there will be anxiety, right? Sometimes people, because of unknown, right? They will not know what is the impact. They may sell off the Microsoft shares itself, okay? All right, so in summary, what is the outcome that we can foresee? The most important part is the major reduction, as you can see earlier, is on the Microsoft and NVIDIA composition, but more likely it's going to be a sideways consolidation, as I mentioned just now, which is near the resistance. The people may sell off, but when it comes to a strong support, like there are fund managers or individuals would want to buy, so it will cause a sideways trend for a while, as long as QQQ has not complete selling there to complete reduce until they comply to the composition changes. Okay. Do bear in mind that there are many factors that affect share price. There's the macro impact. Macro means the monetary policies, fiscal policies, the geopolitical tension, and so on, right? It is like 10 different macro factors that we do cover in our macro insights course. And the industry impact is about 30%. So what is industry impact? For example, a lot of these stocks are aligned with the AI mega trend, right? So that's the reason why a lot of these stocks go up this year. And there's also a PC demand recovery expected next year, right? So some of the investors funds are already buying into these stocks early this year. Okay, of course now it's already rallied a lot, right? So you have to make sure that you don't just straight away jump in, right? Wait for the pullback, right? So those are the industry impact on the share price. And the stock-specific impact is only 30%. Like this is a stock-specific impact case, on the rebalancing. That's only impact a few stocks. However, you need to take note that now we have earnings season in July, and August are the heavy earnings season, and many of these tech stocks are announcing earnings in the the last week of July or in the first half of August. Yeah, some in the later part of August. So the earnings outcome and the company forecast in this earnings season will have more significant impact than the Nasdaq rebalancing. Yeah, for example, if Microsoft announced a great earnings, right, it will supersede the Nasdaq rebalancing impact. Yeah, because more funds will want to buy into Microsoft. Yeah, than the amount that QQQ wanted to sell. And if they miss earnings, then it will have a bigger impact to correct further. But after that, people may want to come back in to collect Microsoft. Right? So make sure that you have a money management strategy. Right? And last but not least, we're going to have a FOMC announcement in this coming 26th of July. There will be 2 days meeting, 25th and 26th July, where they will announce the outcome of their decisions on the interest rate directions on the last day of the meeting. Okay, and this would have an even more significant impact than the Nasdaq 100 rebalancing. So as you combine all this impact together, I would say that the rebalancing will be the lower part of the impact. All right. So in the past, I have experienced the major rebalancing before on Apple. So let me just show you an example why I get to understand all this, right? Yeah, you can see that in way back in April 5th, 2011, there was a Nasdaq rebalancing as well. Yeah, at that time, it was because of Apple. The composition was more than 20%, right? Apple was a very hot and high growth stocks at that time. Yeah, so I started trading Apple for a long time. So, and I've experienced this rebalancing at that time, since I already traded for 30 years so far. And I started trading the US stock market in 1997. Okay. Yeah. So at that time, Apple has become really overweight. Just imagine, right? A single stock carries a 20% weight on the Nasdaq 100, and it has to be reduced, yeah, to less than 10%. Yeah, so that the influence on the index is not so much. Yeah? In the past, when Apple moved, Nasdaq moved. Right? That's how significant it is. Yeah, just imagine 1/5 of the index. So the company have to reduce, and this will be a more significant impact. Yeah, because Apple alone, the reduction is down from 20% plus to 10%. Okay. Yeah, so the actual percentage change is about 40%. So there's a lot of sell-off. So I have experienced this. Let me show you the Apple chart at that time. Right? So this is way back in 2011. The stock at that time is 300 plus. Okay, so because right now there's, after so many stocks split, that it become $13 when we look back in time. But at that point in time, if I remember correctly, it was 300 plus. Yeah. Okay, so you can see the rebalancing was announced around the April timeframe here, and the stock start to go sideways. Yeah, it was also impacted partially on the earnings, but actually earnings was good. If you look at the earnings here, right, after earnings is go up, it went up. Then the committee came in, right? The fund managers for those funds that model the index will sell off. But when it comes to a strong support, people buy back in, right? So this is the type of reaction that would typically happen for a major rebalancing on the specific stocks, where up to a certain resistance, right, the funds will come in and sell, then come back to support the other big funds. As long as this is still a strong fundamental stocks, right, that has strong future growth, then the individuals as well as other fund managers will come and buy. Then they will sell off again. They come to the support, they will buy again. So this sideways consolidation lasts for about 2 to 3 months. All right. Yeah. So can we expect the same from Microsoft today? So you need to understand that it's actually affected by other factors right now that are on the higher impact. For example, the FOMC decisions, right? But in general, I would say that it's more likely a sideways consolidation if you look at it standalone, yeah, without other factors, yeah, affecting it. All right. So I hope this sharing helped you, right? Thank you.